Hello, I'm Michelle Howe from Hotel Management Asia, and I'm here at the FHA Expo 2010 in Singapore, and with me is Roger MacFarlane, Vice President Technology Middle East and Asia. Roger. You are doing a presentation later today on digital profiling. What is digital profiling and how is it useful to hotels?
Well, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to join you here today. Digital profiling is basically a more holistic approach to personalization of a guest stay in our hotels. I mean, when we looked back, or when I started to look at network architecture and convergence back in 2000 and 2003, I started to find great opportunities apart from enabling a hotel to have a single network architecture with different virtual LAN or VLAN services to run voice, data, BMS, CCTV, Wi-Fi, all of those sorts of things. I started to think there has to be a little bit more. And so I coined up the term G2, which is Generation 2 Technologies / Digital Profiling. And basically I wanted to see from network convergence and from a converged network, I want to see greater levels of integration that link our building management systems, our in-room management systems, our data and our voice to suit and tune themselves to a guest's preferences. So if a guest walks into a room, if you like, he or she has that room tailored to her specific requirements, from the temperature to the ambient lighting to the digital content. So that's what digital profiling is in a nutshell. If we talk about digital profiling, it really comes off the back of our organization's guest recognition program. You know, we have a guest recognition program, and yes, as a hotel guest, we know you like red wine and you like the New York Times, but there needs to be more. And I started to scratch my head a few years ago, and I wanted to see, well, I started to come up with the idea to transform our hotels and hotel guest rooms to suit the guest's specific needs on the back of a guest recognition program. So what I did was, and what I'm starting to do now, is all our new hotel projects, I'm starting to look at the network infrastructure, how the wiring should be placed, and what systems are required to link the different elements. So the three components are, if you like, our guest recognition program, which captures guest preferences, and the other part is, of course, a converged network, which aligns and further integrates those IT services and technology services. And then, of course, the third is preferential information or middleware software, which connects your PMS and your building and in-room management systems. So the middleware is software which again links to your PMS and links to those systems, middleware like Novatech, for example. So if a guest walks in to our hotel, welcome back, Mr. Smith, lovely to see you again. He checks in, yes, room 223, sir. We have his preferences in the profile. As soon as the check-in information is triggered on the PMS system, it goes to middleware. Middleware goes in and starts to trigger the ambient lighting, the room temperature, and has ready, if you like, his own personal content from the type of TV channels he likes, maybe his own personal videos or style of videos, and even other digital content. So by the time the guest gets or is checked in or gets his room key, and by the time he walks up to his room, the room alters or physically alters, if you like, in many ways to his preferences.
Related to that, how will digital profiling change the guest experience?
Well, I think as we go into 2010 and into the future, it's all about personalization as far as I'm concerned and far as, well, the industry is concerned. We want to excite and delight our guests. We want to pamper them, and we want to give them a more personal touch, more so than what they've ever seen in the past. And I think that digital profiling enables the technology and enables very progressive network architectural design, if you like, to pamper that guest, to give him that heightened experience, and to make his stay a more memorable one. Because ultimately the guest is our number one priority, it's our number one client, it's our number one customer, it pays the bills, and we want them coming back. It's not just a one-time experience, but a positive experience on a multiple occasions.
How is hotel technology becoming more sophisticated?
Well, I think technology is becoming more sophisticated in relation to what I was actually talking about. Now our systems are starting to talk to each other. You know, hotel technology, you know, if you go back 30 years ago and as little as 20 years ago, you have your basics. You'd have your PMS, your accounting system, your payroll and personnel. But now with advances in technology and technology becoming so sublime, there are greater levels of integration. There are technology initiatives that are coming in to further, if you like, capitalize on the way we operate our control systems in the building management system, again, our digital content. And of course, our PMSs are now becoming a lot more sophisticated. So a natural evolution of technology, natural progression of advances in the application software, now it brings us to a point where we say, hey, the next part of all of that is greater levels of integration of all of those. So that's where technology is moving and advancing. It's certainly what I've seen in the last 20 or 30 years.
And what do you expect to be the next major changes over the following decade?
Well, technology, again, I really think that RFID is something that is going to come into play in the next midterm. And again, personalization with some of the technology options that I was talking about. But I see Generation 2, apart from integration, I see the next step for Generation 2 and Generation 3 is RFID technology, where guests can walk in with a smart card, if you like, that contains preferential information, and he doesn't really doesn't need to go to a reception desk, if you like. He just takes out his card. It's got the chip. It's got the information in there. He just swipes it across a counter, if you like, or a reader in the front desk. It immediately checks him into a room. It gives him a room assignment, and then as he proceeds to his room, that then starts a chain of event where the PMS is updated, middleware, and then the in-room management systems are triggered. So I see RFID as coming on very strong in the next short future, maybe in the next 5 to 8 years.
Is the hospitality industry keeping pace with technological advances in your view?
Well, I think traditionally the hospitality industry is always not so much a leader, but probably more a follower. They're very, very cautious and different from rather other organizations like the airline industry or the banking industry. I think what's also happened is that for a long time, you know, guest activities certainly centered around a set amount or set criteria, which didn't really require or look at, you know, a lot of technological innovation. But now, as we move into this century, you know, guests are a lot more tech savvy. They're demanding a lot more. Their own rooms and their own houses are very technologically advanced. So as a minimum, they expect that in a hotel room. You know, 30 and 40 years ago, when my mother and father went to a hotel and spent the weekend there, it was an experience. It was, wow, you know, they've got a swimming pool and they've got 30 channels on the TV. They've got this fantastic king-size bed. They have all these mod cons and mod features. Now, 30 and 40 years down the track, that's less attractive, because the guests come and say, hey, where's the business center services? Where's the Wi-Fi? I mean, don't they have high-speed internet access here? It's too slow. I mean, I have it faster in my own home. So a home away from home concept is something that guests are coming to terms with, and the hotel industry, through technology, needs to keep up with that and keep a balance. I think we are starting to do that, and certainly in recent years with some of the technology options that are available, hotels are starting to get into that arena and starting to match and align and meet and exceed guest expectations. Certainly we're trying to do that.
Roger MacFarlane of MACFARLAINE Hotels and Resorts, thank you so much for taking the time to chat.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.